first example, we're going to express this relation as a table, a graph, and a mapping. Notice they've already given us the ordered pairs, so we're going to do a table, a graph, and a mapping. So I'm going to start out with my table. I'm going to do an X and Y table, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 points that I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and make my table. And all I do, remember, your points are always X, comma, Y. So now, I just put in my X value of 2, and that goes with a Y value of 5. My X value of negative 2 goes with a Y value of 3. My X value of 5 goes with a Y value of negative 2. And my X value of negative 1 goes with a Y value of negative 2. So there's my table. Now I need to make a graph. And you don't have graph paper, but we'll make it as good as we can. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put tick marks on my graph. So I'm going to go up to 5 on my x-axis, down to negative 5, up to 5 on my y-axis, and down to negative 5 on my y-axis. So now what I need to do is plot these points. Remember, you walk before you climb. So for the point 2, 5, we always start at our origin, and now x is 2, so I'm going to go 2 to the right. Y is 5, so I'm going to go up 5. Right there's the point 2, 5. And we usually like to label our points once we put them on. So there's 2, 5. Now I'm going to do the point negative 2, 3. X is negative, so I'm going to go to the left 2. And then I'm going to go up 3. So there's negative 2, 3. And then I've got to do my next point, 5, negative 2. X is 5, so I go 5 to the right. And then I go down 2. And then for my last point, I'm going to do negative 1, negative 2. X is negative, so I go 1 to the left. Y is negative, so I go down 2. There's the point, negative 1, 2. All I did was I made a graph and I plotted the 4 points. The last thing I have to do is my mapping, which means I need to list what my domain is and my range is. Now my domain is just going to be my X values, and probably the easiest thing to do for a mapping is to look at your table. So for my domain, I've got 2, negative 2, 5, negative 1, and you could put these in order from least to greatest, but I'm fine with them just being in the order you see them in. And then for my range, I can see I've got 5, 3, and negative 2. Notice, there are 2 different negative 2's, but I only have to put it once, okay? If a number repeats, you don't have to put it more than once in a mapping. And now I just need to say, where do each of these numbers in the domain go to in the range? Well, if I look, 2 goes to 5, negative 2 goes to 3, 5 goes to negative 2, and negative 1 goes to negative 2 as well. There's my mapping. And then the last thing, determine the domain and the range for each function of the relation, That's pretty easy once you do your mapping because it tells me exactly what the domain and the range are. The domain, and we usually use these wavy brackets, and now I'm going to want them in order from least to greatest. It's negative 2, negative 1, 2, and 5. Then we close it with these wavy brackets. And for my range, I'm going to list my y values, or my range values, from least to greatest as well. Negative 2, 3, and 5. And that's all there is to do for this problem. We made a table, a graph, a mapping, and then we just listed our domain and our range. Hopefully not too tricky. The one that might be confusing is this mapping because you may not have seen that before.